All right, hello, it's Lunchbox5930 here with a special guest.
How's it going, guys? Mike here from the Tressa Collectibles channel.
And I'm Simu, also known as Chairman, also from the Tressa Collectibles channel.
And we're gonna do a quick interview. At least I'm gonna try to make it quick. Y'all made fun of my delay.
You have as much time as you would like with us.
We have at least 3 hours.
3-hour interview. You know what? Let me get a cup of coffee and we'll be on our way.
It should be good.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a question for both of y'all. What got you into Weiss Schwarz and how did you hear about it?
So I was introduced to Weiss Schwarz in 2012 from my college roommate. He told me there was a set. He told me there was a Fate Zero card game. Happened to be Weiss, so I got into Fate Zero because I really like Gilgamesh, Archer, Iskandar, all that stuff. So yeah, Fate Zero was my first set in 2012.
Yeah, I also got into Weiss from a college, not a housemate, but it was an upperclassman, 1 year older than me, and he had some Weiss cards. I was like, oh, this looks really interesting. And he's like, yeah, do you want to join me to go to this card shop in like halfway across like LA, and like you can just carpool with me? I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I carpool with him. We was carpool with other people, and that's like how I started playing. Every week we went to like Triple Crown in this was a long time ago. It's in like Manhattan Bay, was it? No, Marina Bay.
Marina Bay?
Yeah, I think. And I was in like downtown, so it was like halfway across LA.
I live deep south in Orange County, and I used to drive at least like an hour 10 to get an HSI, because that was the only spot that I knew that did a Weiss. Well, what set were you introduced with?
My first English set was Angel Beats Re-Edit.
Oh.
In 2014, yeah.
Yeah. I always say that Weiss Schwarz is never someone's first card game. It's always like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and then it's Weiss Schwarz. What was your first trading card game?
My first trading card game was Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I played Pokemon in high school a little bit, just like casually, just showed up for some like local shop tournaments and stuff like that, and that's how I got my foot into trading card games.
I started with Starter Deck Kaiba. Every time my mom took me to the dentist, as a reward for my good behavior, I would get a pack or like something I wanted. So I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh. I played, Playground Yu-Gi-Oh, unsleeved decks and all that good stuff.
The best format.
Then when I got into college, I played competitive Pokemon for 4 years. And then that was also around I played Weiss and Pokemon, but it was like competitive Pokemon and Weiss on the side.
Yeah. So now we're going to start getting more into the content creation side of the interview. So what inspired you to create content for Weiss Schwarz?
So I think there is just not that much well-edited, properly thought-out content, or there's just not enough of it. So when I was looking at like the YouTube landscape and just like how much like me and Simu and Randall knew about the game and how much knowledge we could share, I just wanted to bring that to just a larger audience to be able to educate more people about Weiss, get more people into Weiss. And when I started Tressa, like as a business, I also just saw it as like an opportunity, obviously for like marketing purposes, right? Yeah. But this is also just something that I really wanted to do just to grow the game, because I just didn't really feel like the game had, like it wasn't really growing as much as I would have liked it to. So I think just like a small step from us might go a long way. So that was how it started.
Mm-hmm. You have anything to add?
Oh no, I mean like
it's right on the head.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I don't remember. Did I start making my own content before you started Tressa's or after?
Because I know Pesh Cats.
So Randall was the earliest content creator out of all of us. In fact, we had a video recently on our channel of Randall interviewing Mike 10 years ago for the CSIU one. 2015 So Randall has been in the game for way longer than both of us. Yeah.
But it was more like I just wanted to just have consistency in terms of just like well-edited content and just like more presentable content, especially with like gameplay videos where like people could see hands. Made it a point to just like explain plays and thought processes. Where a lot of content, gameplay-wise, would just be like just the raw footage, and you can't really see people's hands, and you kind of just have to like do a lot of guesswork, things like that. So I kind of wanted to break away from that kind of like tradition. So
So what is the setup? Like, what equipment do you use, like camera-wise, editing-wise, sound editing-wise?
So I went to Daiso, and there's these just like 200 yen grids. So I kind of just made like a makeshift like tower.
For a tripod? Like,
It's sort of like a tripod, and then we would just have like my iPhone on the like pointing directly down onto
Yeah.
the stage. And then the field would be propped up by like a couple of empty booster cases, and that's where we would put playmats, and that's where the field goes. So that
You're nodding your head like, yes.
like what you guys see on the Tressa videos looks really nice, and then the setup is like, it's oh sorry,
No, it's
yeah. So like what you guys see in the Tressa videos, like the top-down view, it's really nice because we're making sure we're not showing you any of the actual setup. The actual setup is held together by cardboard, plastic, and dreams and hope and tears and sweat. So it's like it is super jank.
Has there been a time that you guys are working and filming a video and it'll just like falls apart, or
oh, thankfully not yet.
not yet?
But
wood.
recently we side graded to a slightly more sturdy Home Depot grid. However, that does not mesh well with the existing Daiso grids, and I did not swap the whole setup, only the partial setup. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a tower waiting to fall. But it's held up so far. It held up for a Nikkei content block, so.
Hey,
Yeah.
good. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, what do you enjoy the most out of making a Tressa collectible video? Damn, nothing.
I liked. I want to kind of like think about how to phrase it. Because there's a lot of fulfillment that I get from creating content.
Yeah.
Mostly just in terms of like, I have a lot of people email me or just come to my shop and they tell me, it's like, I really enjoyed your video, or it's like, I want to build that deck from your video, or like, hey, can you help me clarify this particular thing? Or, you go to regionals and it's like, oh, I'm playing like a variant of like the list I saw on Tressa. So things like that, just anything that kind of I get exposure to in terms of just like the content being watched and making a difference.
Yeah.
To put it very broadly.
Yeah, pretty similar to Mike's answer. I think what is the coolest thing about doing content for Tressa is just inspiring people to play the game more and to try things out, right? And I think like, like sometimes for Tressas, like the decks that we build, there are a wide spectrum of decks. Like sometimes we build decks that are like trying to be as meta, like relevant as possible. Sometimes we build decks that are like just trying to be as consistent as possible, just so that you can, like sometimes we're trying to demo like a cool combo or something that's like not very well played, and we just want the deck to be able to function.
Yeah.
And other times, Mike and Randall are not watching me, so I just show up with the craziest deck possible. Like regardless what kind of deck we build, it's always great when we hear about people like, oh yeah, that list you played or that list you showcased, I tried it. And it doesn't matter if they had a good time or a bad time, just like the fact that they were inspired to try it and
Yeah.
they had an experience with it, and usually they gain something out of it. Like that is like so cool, because like ultimately we just want to inspire more people to play the game and to just end up enjoying the game. Yeah.
All right. What's the hardest part of making a video?
Okay. So for me, I work full time. I'm in school, grad school right now. So sometimes the consistent schedule just
Yeah.
like sneaks up on me when I'm like not prepared. There's been a few weeks where like I'm juggling like a ton of deadlines. Work has been tough, and then it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, you gotta record for this and do this and show up on Tuesday, and yeah, I'm
make a
like,
YouTube video.
oh my gosh. So yeah, I do think like the schedule can be kind of rough sometimes.
For me, it's like trying to get everything ready to go by the time Simu and Rando do come to record. We record a good amount of time before the actual videos come out, just because that's just the amount of time we need in terms of like the lead-up process and edit, giving Rando time to edit and stuff. So making sure that's done on my end. And then also in terms of gameplay and deck preparation, I try to make sure that I have practiced the decks I'm playing a couple of times. Obviously, I don't have a lot of decks that were in Japanese I just have not played before.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time to test like those original Japanese versions. So I do rely quite a bit on Simo and Randall's help in coming up with archetypes and stuff. But I do try to just get in a lot of like shadow games of any decks that I play, just to kind of just like know how to mulligan, things like that, get the flow exactly. So that I would say just take a good amount of time and kind of like brain power.
So we're talking about time. How long does a typical video usually take? Like from conception, writing, filming, editing?
So generally speaking, the process in terms of recording is around a week. We generally will record at the beginning of the week of a release week, and then the first video will go up that Friday. And then we do just have a consistent schedule. But like we record all the material in one day. So it'll just be like a 6-7 hour recording session.
Wow.
Sometimes, yeah. So like deck profile, generally 3 gameplay videos, and then in the middle we like take breaks, discuss decks and all that stuff. So yeah, we try to just finish everything in one day. I don't want to like bother Randall and Simu for like multiple days to come. So it's just easier if we
Getting it all out in one.
Get it all done in one go. Yeah.
So you're primarily on YouTube. You also have YouTube Shorts. Is it just YouTube that y'all do? Like you use Twitter, TikTok, or any other platforms?
As far as content creation goes, primarily it is YouTube. Tressa's Collectibles does have other social media on like the usual Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I kind of refuse to use TikTok, so I don't have a TikTok for the brand. But I do update those other 3 social medias, and they kind of generally have a bit different content. Like Facebook is more for like shop updates. Instagram has like a lot of like shots from like people pulling cards from the shop. And then Twitter is kind of just like me rambling, ask Mike from Tressa's Collectibles. So yeah, that's kind of how I've divvied it up. But YouTube is really where all the actual content creation and like posts relating to content creation goes. So that's where all goes.
A lot of social media platforms are pushing towards more short form and vertical style media. Is there any like plans to try to not fully pivot to short form and vertical style, but probably add more to it, like make more for that? I know you said you don't use TikTok,
right?
But still YouTube Shorts, Instagram.
So initially we planned to have the shorts content that we make just be like skits, funny cuts from our gameplay videos, and things like that. And generally speaking, we have kind of adhered to that principle while primarily still sticking to long-form content. I think Tressa's will always be primarily long-form content focused. I'm not super interested in just creating a bunch of like shorts for the sake of just like, I don't think there's, like we want to be educational, right? And I think a lot of the value will just come from our longer videos. But like sometimes we have funny ideas for skits, or every so often when Bushido comes up with like a really silly like misprint on a card, we're like, okay, well, this is a golden opportunity. Let's create something funny. So yeah.
Awesome.
I will say that we're pretty open to exploration. So like for the DK content blog, we did do an educational short, and that it's going interesting. But I do think like there's potential to use the shorts format a little bit more. It just really depends. It's kind of like I would consider that to be like bonus stuff that we do, and that's not we won't schedule that kind of content. That's like the most important.
Okay,
thing,
for sure. So you guys have, or Tressa's Collectibles has the mainstays on the channel. Is there anything like out of the usual mainstays that y'all film that you're interested in making? Like not just gameplay, not just deck profiles, unboxings. Is there anything else that you're thinking about exploring? Paintings, an album?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know Randall has that song out.
So generally speaking, like we all do just have like Simu has his full-time thing, Randall has like other editing things, and obviously I am pretty preoccupied with just like the business part of us. So like it's kind of just like when strokes of inspiration come, then we'll get together and brainstorm something to maybe see if that is something that we want to make. Also, like we've been doing a bit more vlogging, but I would say that like, especially since we work with the release schedule of Tressa's, and generally speaking, it is fairly tight. So it's like if there's a set release every 2 weeks, we'll just be preoccupied and we'll be releasing 3 videos a week, you know, like every like consistently. And there would only be time in the schedule if there's like a long break between releases. So like for example, like between Nikkei and Rurouni Kenshin, there's actually like I think like 1.5 months of break. So during that time, obviously when we're here, we're filming a bunch of content, and after that we'll have room for post-Worlds content. But there's been a couple times throughout the past couple of years where there's like a period of like 3-4 months where it would just be like a release every 2 weeks, and we just literally have no time to make anything else.
Yeah. I will say though, a personal passion of mine is alternate formats, and it's something that I've kind of been floating around the team for like a good over a year actually right now, but we just haven't had a good time to do it. And especially with like Worlds, like it's been like kind of rough, but I have bought cards for potential alternate format videos. So I'm really excited to experiment with that.
Yeah.
We do have some downtime and can fit those videos in.
Perfect. So this one's going to be a little more personal. Who has inspired you to actually create content? Like either in your personal life or another content creator, like a YouTuber or anything like that?
What? Me first?
I gotta think.
That's the one that always gets people thinking, like...
I'm inspired by the lack of content.
Oh, that's valid, yeah.
I did get a lot of inspiration for how we set up the gameplay videos from Japanese gameplay. Like they, I know like for example like Yuyute, when they used to make the gameplay content,
Yes.
they would have like small trays underneath tables where they could place their hands, and like the video would be able to see both the field and the revealed hand without the players being able to see them. So like that was kind of like my initial like spark of inspiration. That's like, oh wait, we can kind of like work on this idea, except we would also like think through our plays. So that's really where it got started. But primarily my motivation was there was just not that much actual Weiss Schwarz content out there.
Yeah.
So wanted to make some ourselves.
Yeah, personally, I guess I watch a good amount of like content creators for other trading card games. So I follow a bit of Magic, I follow Yu-Gi-Oh, some Pokemon, and I do think that those communities, since the communities are larger and the content creators are a little bit bigger, that they get to experiment with some cooler ideas, and I'm always really inspired by either like their graphic editing, like thumbnails, or like presentation style. So yeah, I think for Tressas, we do tend to follow like a pretty basic like formula that works, and we want to be consistent and educational. But I guess like for me personally, I do enjoy being a little bit more creative and trying some like wilder stuff. So like sometimes I'll try to sneak in something, but yeah.
2 more questions. What role do you think content creators play in shaping the TCG community?
I think it's paramount in terms of it's basically just organic marketing for the game, and a way, probably like one of the best ways for new prospective players and collectors to get exposed to said game. Like if we take a look at Pokemon, for example, like most of the the big Pokemon boom of like post-COVID, I mean that was largely driven by social media.
Yeah.
Right. So like you see a lot of like your favorite content creators ripping packs and opening their like really cool cards, and like that just like kind of like spreads like wildfire. The more exposure a game has, the more people being exposed will want to like buy and partake and enjoy the product, right? So what good is a game if no one knows about it, right? And I feel like that has kind of been an issue for Weiss for a long time. It's just, I feel like the product is extremely good, but there's just not enough growth with it. Like, for example, Anaheim 2015, the regionals that I got first place at, that regionals had almost 200 people in 2015. We fast forward 10 years, and up until I think last 2023 BCS, we still had around 200 people for California. So it kind of was just like a consistent number, and then for as many people coming into the game, there was also people leaving the game, and it was just not really the growth that I would expect a game of Weiss Schwarz quality to see.
Yeah.
So it's like I really believe in the product, but again, it's just like if people don't know about the product, the growth will not really come, you know. One of my biggest, I consider one of my biggest roles, like as like the shop at like for example Collectible show in SoCal, is literally every single show I probably answer like 10 plus times just people asking about what this game is. They'll be familiar with the source material and the animes, but then a lot of people will have comments like, "Oh, I didn't know Freewind had its own card game," or "Oh, are those DVDs on the shelves?" referring to booster boxes. So like people just don't know.
DVD.
The IPs are very widely known and very beloved, but Weiss is not something that people recognize still.
Yeah.
Tons of people just don't know what it is. So I put it on myself to just try to promote the game, and that's where I see that's the primary motivation for me in terms of both like the shop and also like the content creation.
Yeah, I think I also agree with Mike. I think content creators are paramount for the success of a game, and I'll give my example by stating kind of the opposite. I think there's a lot of examples out there of content creators who are really negative on the games that they're playing or they're representing, and it just has a really negative and toxic effect on the community. I play a lot like Genshin Impact, Humble Star Rail. A lot of the content creators for those games are actually just really negative, and they kind of spend a lot of their time like talking about how they don't like the game or how they're not having fun. And it just turns the community, like you see in the comments, the community is just kind of like fighting against each other. Like some people like siding with the content creators, some people trying to like defend themselves, and it just creates this like uninhabitable community. Same thing with League of Legends. I don't know why I'm in all these communities, but it's the thing. And I think for Weiss, there's a little bit of that sentiment sometimes, where like I do hear a lot of players like complain about like the randomness of the game, or like the very common sentiment among trading card game players is that Weiss is just a complete luck-based game. There's no skill, right? And I think as content creators, it's really important to just like not represent that kind of mentality, because first of all, it's simply not true, right? If Weiss is just a luck-based game, there's no way that we would have a world championship where like consistent players are doing well, right? Like clearly there is skill, and like it's important as content creators to recognize that, to represent these things accurately. Like obviously we're not gonna say like it's all skill, but like to kind of like demoralize people from even like trying the game. Because like I think also like fundamentally, Weiss is just really fun. Like regardless of how much skill is required, it's just such a fun game. And if people are demoralized from trying out the game because they think it's just this like coin toss dice rolling simulator, then they're just never gonna get in, and they're never gonna enjoy and experience the game. So I think content creators are really important by like showing that you can have fun playing the game with friends at whatever skill level you want to play. Then that incentivizes people like, oh hey, like that game looks fun, I want to try playing it too. And I think content creators are really important for that. Yeah.
All right, two more. What series would you like to come to Weiss? If IP, legal issues, not a thing, what do you want to cover?
So for the longest time, my answer would have been Shirobako. Shirobako holds a really special place in my heart. Nowadays, not so much. So that would have been my answer, I would say, for like the past 4 or 5 years. Honestly, I'll get back to you on that.
Genshin Impact.
Oh wait, okay. Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh, actually.
Grand Blue Fantasy, and it's not even like out of the realm of possibility, because like Side Games obviously works with Wishiro to make Shadowverse. So yeah, give us please Sean, please Wishiro, Grand Blue Fantasy.
That'd be good. All right, speaking of Genshin, it was gonna come to Rebirth, and then it got canceled.
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
That did not exist. Well, what? Genshin? Rebirth?
What's Rebirth?
What? Genshin? What? No. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking
We're
about.
getting Eminence in Weiss now, so but Rebirth what? All right, last question. What is your favorite deck? Your favorite not meta deck? Your pet deck?
I feel like the fact that I say the answer is already making me sad because I think the deck's really good. Okay, all right, I'm gonna say it right now because I'm taking it tomorrow for Trio Survival at Busho Card Fight. And so like if I do well, then like it's because I believe, right? But 8-win Heaven Burns Red.
8-win
Heaven Burns Red is my baby, is my darling. I have won so many games with that deck. That deck is insanely good. I will take that deck to the ends of the earth.
For me, my favorite pet deck. So like, for basically the better part of 10 years when I've been playing Weiss, the way I approach Weiss is just going to be like, I do want to win. So generally speaking, I'm the type of player that wants to find something that is a bit off kilter compared to the meta. Like using my knowledge of the meta, I want to bring something that is very unexpected, and that I think gives me a good advantage. So throughout the years, I've had a couple of decks that I've built with that mindset, and that I'm very fond of. But I would say like my favorite deck of all time is probably Osomatsu.
Osomatsu.
Yeah, so Osomatsu is just like the story is when I was working for JKTCG, we got in like a case of Osomatsu, June did, and like it was just unsellable. Like it would just sit on the shelves for ages, and then I decided, okay, you know what, this set actually looks kind of dank. I'm gonna buy all your boxes, June, and I'm gonna build a deck. I don't even have a playset of Osomatsu to this day. I think I'm missing a couple double rares, but I ended up pulling enough to make like the Dushimatsu, Karamatsu, Door Gold Bar deck, and I practiced the heck out of that deck. I think it was like one of my first decks where I really took the time to understand the meta, and then took the time to just really experiment and just grind to try to perfect a formula, like my perfect 50 card list that I really liked. So I saw a lot of success with that deck. I took the deck to Nats. That was like the Cinderella Girls meta, and I specifically used Osomatsu because it beat like the best two decks in the meta at the time, which would be Cinderella Girls and Tulabru.
Yeah.
So like I'm very happy with that deck because like it did really well for me, and that was kind of like a result of my hard work. So I have very fond memories of it. Pet deck that is not meta or was like never really good, probably Guilty Crown.
Guilty Crown.
Yeah, okay. So I've never watched Guilty Crown, but I have Max Guilty Crown.
Why? Why?
I have 6 Inori SPs because like I really like that character design. So Guilty Crown is my favorite anime that I've never watched.
That's really funny. One last question because I want you to say it. What's the best pull that you ever had?
Yukino SSP. Back when I was rarely making content by myself, I had like an old channel where I would do like some Bane Dream deck profiles and stuff. I was really into Bane Dream back then. And then when the English version of Girls Man Party Volume 1 came out in English, I bought a case for myself, and then I recorded the whole thing, and then I pulled the British Diva. And throughout the years, I've gotten, especially like post like Weiss Boom, I've gotten like so many like solicitations, offers. Like at one point at like the height of like the boom, I think I was offered 15K for it. But it's the card that I will never part with.
Yeah.
Because it holds so much to me. It represented a time in my life which was very dear to me. Like a lot of the friends I've made, a lot of the memories I have with like Bane Dream, and like me and Randall traveled to Japan specifically for like a Rosalia concert.
Yeah.
Things like that. So like things like that sentimentally are just kind of priceless to me. So I would rather, I don't know, like sell a kidney. I probably will. Okay, I'll probably sell my Yukina before the kidney, but probably not much else.
Yeah, so for me, on Eurocamp release weekend, I went to this guy's booth, and in 3 boxes, I pulled the AGR. It's the first ever set to have an AGR. I pulled the AGR, which was really crazy. Yeah, and for me, like, the craziest part of that story was 9 years ago at Anime Expo, I met Yumiri Hanamori when she was a rookie. I got her to sign a card sleeve at the time with like a pink Sharpie because I don't know why I wanted her to have the card sleeve, but now that AGR is now sleeved in the oversleeve of her signature from 9 years ago.
Is the AGR pink too?
Yes, it's pink too.
Wow,
it's
what?
crazy.
That is insane.
It's so crazy.
It's so weird.
So side by side, you could look. It's like it's the same kind of signature, but you can see how it's like changed and like matured. It's hilarious. Yeah, like I can't believe I have that. Yeah.
All right, plug your socials, and we're good to go. We could go eat.
Instagram is Tressa's Collectibles, no space. Facebook is Tressa's Collectibles. YouTube is Tressa's Collectibles. Okay, Twitter is Tressa's Collect. Tressa's, okay, so it's really funny. So when Bushu Road revealed the media invites to the public, in the graphic they made, they had like social links, right?
Yes.
So they would have like a YouTube and Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't ask us for them. They just looked at them themselves. So like I have a previous Tressa's Collectibles Twitter that I just never ended up using.
Yeah.
And then they linked that one.
Oh my god. Bushy Road.
I mean, realistically, it's fine. It's really funny. Yeah, honestly, I lost my train of thought.
Wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did that Twitter get more followers after they? Like,
Oh, absolutely not.
oh, okay.
I don't think that post made that much traction.
I got when they announced the media partners. I think I got 2 followers and one of them was a bot. So
Huge, we take those.
yes. And also before Twitter started wiping out all the bots, I think I lost like 200 followers, and I was like, where did all these come from? Like, what did I do?
How are there so many bots?
What was the hot take that made all these bots on?
I don't know. Probably because I like Weiss or something.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
of
Y'all,
course.
congratulations on your almost 5K followers on YouTube. I'm very excited. We're very grateful for y'all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us. I'm looking forward to more of your content for sure.
Thank you. Yay.